Continuing on still with the series on the water element, and we've been covering the kidneys the last few weeks, their functions, causes of kidney pathology, and patterns of disharmony for the kidneys. And so now we are moving on to the kidneys' brother organ, so to speak, or the yang half of the water element, which is the bladder. And with any yin and yang pairing, the yin organs tend to have more roles to play, and that is the case certainly with the kidneys and the bladder. But that is not to say that the bladder does not serve important roles, and its scope is beyond, what we think of with the bladder from a Western medical standpoint, as with any of the organs, really, from Chinese medicine standpoint. And that being said, there is only one official function of the bladder, and that is to transform or to remove water by qi transformation. So in Chinese medicine perspective, the bladder not only excretes and stores urine, but it also participates in the transformation of body fluids, which is one of the functions of the kidneys. So the bladder supports that role, and it also preserves and safeguards the body fluids, which are called jinye in Chinese medicine. Also controls their quantity and quality. And so the jinye are transformed into qi, which is then what animates all metabolic processes in the body, but not only on a physical level, right? It's what gives us the ability to not only exist, but to live, to thrive, to be, to manifest our true nature. So the bladder plays its role in that, and so that is so that's the only function of the bladder officially, to remove water by qi transformation. And so we'll also talk about today the common causes of disease or pathology for the bladder, which also overlaps with the kidneys. And anything that weakens the kidneys could also could transfer over and injure the bladder as well. But one thing that stands out in particular is the climate. So a damp climate in particular can negatively affect the bladder. So this could mean, just the climate where you live. We certainly are, if you live near where I live, we've been having a very damp, cold winter, especially this week, the dampest, coldest, perhaps winter in a long time. And so too much of that can injure the bladder, and on the other end of the spectrum, there can also be damp heat. So too much of a, like more of a tropical climate we would think of, that can also negatively affect the bladder. But things like just living in like a basement that's really damp could also be a cause of injury to the bladder, or just in other aspects cause this dampness, or exacerbate someone who already has a predisposition to dampness, or other factors introducing that imbalance. Also just sitting on damp surfaces. So even if you have been swimming or something like that, and you're like sitting on the edge of the swimming pool and you're on the like cold or the wet stone or concrete by the pool in your wet bathing suit for a long time, or just have been shoveling for a long time and your clothes are getting sweaty, and then the cold wind is blowing, and you're not making sure that you get into fresh clothes or warm up after that, that could cause this pathology. And so it tends to be, especially with chronic patterns, that there's been a long-term exposure. So it's not going to be this one-off event, but one-off events sometimes can, if they can have enough of an impact to cause perhaps some kind of an acute, like a damp cold invasion or damp heat. And so, yeah, so lots of different factors that can lead to a damp accumulation in the bladder. The other two common causes of disease for the bladder or pathology are shared with the kidneys. So one we talked about with the kidneys was emotional factors, particularly fear. Is the emotion associated with the water element, and that can have the greatest impact on it. So too much fear can also cause harm to the bladder, and result in the sinking of qi, and that can manifest in symptoms like bedwetting, or just having urinary issues. So that is another common cause for the bladder to develop disharmony. And then the last one, again, that we talked about with the kidneys, from a Chinese medicine perspective, excessive sexual activity depletes kidney yang, and that can have an effect on the bladder as well, indirectly, resulting in, again, potentially urinary issues, frequent urination, incontinence, nocturia, or bedwetting. So that is really it for the bladder, and we will talk about next time common causes or common patterns of pathology with the bladder. So stay tuned for that.